Brad is looking to the outside, but he's not going to make the pass on the outside.
You're sure?
Well, no, I'm not sure, but he's just so smart. He'll set to your outside, and you'll kind of lose him in your mirror, and the tendency will be for the 54 to drift up, and he'll seize the moment, drive underneath.
So the telemetry down below, I don't know if this looks a lot like you in the pace car earlier today, but let's look and see what Brad's doing with the pedals.
Back to the throttle, and that's perfect because you notice it's not as simple as wide open or all the way off. And that's managing the tires. Drag to brake, we call it trail braking, that keeps the car low so it doesn't drift up the racetrack. You go back to the accelerator as quickly as you can to start getting that momentum. But remember, you're asking the car to change directions every lap. That's what kills the tires. You don't have tire wear down the front stretch or back stretch unless you're on a restart. It's how you maneuver through the corner. You're asking that car to change directions. And how you do it will determine how long you can go on this set of tires.
So Sam Hornish inside on the left. We're going to take a look at how he's running this Iowa Speedway. There's a couple of ways to run this 4-speed, Ricky. We've talked about it.
Yeah, the best way is to grab a hold of the bottom white line, yellow line. Sam's a fighter. I never raced against Sam, or very little, but he... When the mirror gets full of a driver, he doesn't surrender. And there's never an easy pass with him, which I think is a compliment to him.
So we saw in that last corner, 54 lower, 22 higher, arcing it in. What's the difference as the race goes on for those two different lines here, Ricky?
But first off, you got to have the car tight if you're going to arc it in, which means stay out really late, make a late entry. There it is, right? Car width higher. You've got to have the car tight so that you can turn the wheel through the middle, but it should allow the car to be faster through the middle because you're doing most of the work on entry. It straightens out the middle, and it allows you to come straight up off the corner. He is sizing up the 54. There's really no urgency for Brad right now.
Great racing at the Iowa Speedway. Remember May, it was 54-22. Blaney was in the 22 then, chasing the 54 of Hornish. Brad Keselowski in it now. It's the same great battle.
You use less brake on the high side because the banking catches you. You don't have to turn the wheel as hard. You see how he gained getting in? It's because he used less brake. You let the car roll in. You got position, lights out.
And he made that he'll never pass him on the outside kind of pass, too.
I don't know if I said never. I think you added the never part, but it won't be the last time tonight I'm wrong.
Stickler. Brad Keselowski to the lead over Sam Hornish. A great battle we've watched. We'll come back and see if Sam can chase him down. Bain runs third, McDowell fourth, Brian Scott rounding out the top five here at the Iowa Speedway after 73 of 250 laps. The Dash for Cash consists of 4 events. We've had 3 big winners already this year. Smith with the 100K. Brian Scott at Chicagoland, he took home the big check. And then last week at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, Ty Dillon won the race. He won the $100,000, and he won a lot of hearts the way he drove at the end of that event. Brad Keselowski leads after 81 of 250 laps here at the Iowa Speedway. Let's go up to speed with Nationwide Insurance. Here's Richard Brule.
And let's talk about the 4 cars that are in the midst of the Dash for Cash, and that's the leading car in this championship right now. The number 6 car being driven by Trevor Bain, currently in third. Remember, he started on the pole. He had some issues with the car during the first run. They was pretty happy, though, as a result. He's having some problems with going into entry. He said the entry is better now. The team definitely knows they're going to do well in terms of bringing the car ultimately where he wants to be. They just got to get to that point. But once again, he's running third right now. Vince?
Well, running in the 5th spot is the 2-car of Brian Scott. He's already collected one of those $100,000 Dash for Cash checks already this season. Looks to get another one tonight. Car's a little bit snug in the center. This is a team not only looking for Dash for Cash money, but also still looking for their first Nationwide Series win. They've been hanging around the front a lot this season. They're bound to get it sometime soon. Rick?
Regan Smith, car number 7, also in the Dash for Cash, also happens to be running in 7th position right now. He was talking about the car is loose coming into the turn, tight in the center of the turn. Talking to him before the race, though, he made the point that the car did well in practice on older tires. They feel comfortable that as the runs get longer, that the car will do well. Jim?
Indianapolis winner Ty Dillon has surged in this middle part of the season. It might have something to do with his choice of seat. Ty has ditched the carbon fiber racing seat for old school aluminum. Says it gives him better feel. Crew chief Danny Stockman says it gives Ty much better feedback in order how to tell Stockman how to set up that race car. Right now, though, running in 8th place, Ty Dillon, loose. He cannot get back to the throttle quick enough right now, Dave.
Good luck to them tonight. 3 of the 4 have won it already this year. We'll see who can win the Dash for Cash tonight at Iowa. Leaders, meanwhile, back in traffic, Ricky. The 22 of Keselowski and the 54 of Sam Hornish working it.
Keselowski has continued to be the fastest car on the track. Brian Scott, a little ways back, is putting down some really good lap times, and Sam Hornish is legitimate. They've made that 54 car better.
Here's Bain. You heard in the up to speed, the Dash for Cash. He is running in the 3rd position. McDowell now chasing him down in 4th, looking pretty good in the 20 car.
He's doing it quietly, isn't he?
Yep.
I mean, he's just keeping his nose clean. He's not bringing a lot of attention to himself, and he's running top 5.
I don't think anybody's raced here more than McDowell. He ran an ARCA race back here when it opened in 2006, so he's been coming here a long time. So Keselowski leads, Hornish chases. Back here, others who pitted with them, can they find a handle on their race cars to get further forward and challenge? Tomorrow at noon Eastern on ESPN. Make sure to tune in and join us for the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series race at Pocono. And then tomorrow evening, 7 p.m. on ESPN2, the NHRA O'Reilly Auto Parts Northwest Finals. That's tomorrow night. And the NASCAR Nationwide Series at the Glen. We go back road racing, 2 in a row actually, but next Saturday, 2 p.m. Eastern on ABC. Mid-Ohio will be the week after that, so these versatile drivers will get a couple of road courses in a row. Speaking of versatility, Brad Keselowski on the triangle of Pocono earlier this weekend, now to the oval of Iowa Speedway, leading Sam Hornish. It's about the gap it was when we left, and Bain and McDowell have been able to do nothing to catch him.
Interesting note that a lot of people probably aren't aware of, but Ryan Blaney ran the spring race here. However, he was occupied with some other responsibilities, so Brad stepped up and said, hey, I'll test Iowa for the team. He's got a few laps here in 2014, which people don't know it.
Yeah, absolutely does. Yep, that's right. So Keselowski leads. There was a group of cars that pitted on lap 27 and then stayed out under this last caution. Among them, Elliott Sadler, the 31 of Chase Pistone, the 29 of Kenny Wallace, the 93 of Kevin Swindell. They're not going the right direction right now. Sadler was concerned about that. He runs 11th, Ricky, and there might be a potential fuel need coming up for him.
Yeah, the clock is ticking really, really loud for the crew chief of the 11 and the handful of other cars that stayed out, because they're going to be forced to pit road. The risk is, even though they're only 25 laps off from the drivers that stayed out and the teams that stayed out and pitted later, the 25 laps is big if the caution comes out around lap 130 or 140.
Down the backstretch, the lead continues. Hornish sizing up Keselowski, working through the traffic.
Ooh, a little tight off the corner. He would have liked if the 93 had surrendered so he could have drifted to the wall.
Meanwhile, on your right, Trevor Bain in the 3rd position and McDowell in 4th. They have been going through some heavy traffic. They're cleared out right now, but I was watching them a lap ago out the window here, and man, oh man, dicing through this lap traffic.
Dave, you mentioned earlier about how much will the track change. It's going to change dramatically, and that's the advantage to being out front. You can give better information to your team out front in clean air than you can if you're behind another car, because again, it's sort of misleading, right? You don't know how much of it's the car, the track, or the conditions, the circumstance.
Chase Elliott in the 5th position. Brian Scott was right up next to him in traffic there. For right now, Elliott maintains that advantage. Brian Scott's car looking pretty good going into the corner.
Yeah, in fact, Chase Elliott actually passed him for the position. And Chase is actually gaining speed, making a run toward the front here.
So Elliott now up to 5th.
Yeah, there's so much to appreciate about this young man. And I had a great conversation with Greg Ives about him, and this is the ultimate compliment. You know, he compared him to Jimmy Johnson. He compared him in that he doesn't overthink the race car. He concentrates on wanting to be fast. He says one of the greatest strengths of Jimmy Johnson is that he wants to go fast. He doesn't care what the team does to the car. In fact, he might not even want to know. That is a tremendous advantage for a crew chief.
We mentioned that Chase was behind Brian Scott. Here's how it happened. And it was in lap traffic, Ricky.
Yeah, this is all instinct. Why do I say that? Because this is crowded. Look, you got to split these two guys, and these aren't guys that have really good handling cars.
3 wide, 3 in your middle, clear, all clear.
It's instinct. In other words, if you think about that, you probably wreck.
If you missed our countdown show, of course, we brought up the fact that Greg Ives there on the right will be moving to crew chief the 88 car for Dale Earnhardt Jr. in 2015 in the Sprint Cup Series. And Chase Elliott on the left is going to try to win a championship. They're going to stay together throughout this year. And as we heard, trying to stay focused on the task at hand before they move on to next year.
In my opinion, you will not see Greg Ives back in the Nationwide Series, period. I look at him the same way I looked at Paul Wolfe 5 years ago. Dale Earnhardt Jr., congratulations. I'm telling you what, I don't know how many years you got left, Dale. If it's 5, it's 10. They're going to be really, really good. This guy is outstanding, and he's so good that this will be the last time you see him full-time in the Nationwide Series. That's my view.
And he knows how to sport a championship ring. He's got 4 of them, being an engineer with Jimmy Johnson. I would say during his heyday, but I think we're still in the Jimmy Johnson heyday. Back up front, Brad Keselowski continuing to hold off Sam Hornish here at the Iowa Speedway. Pit stops coming up for some of our competitors when we come back. Pit stops for everyone here at lap 109. Vince?
The 54 of Sam Hornish Jr. still a little bit too free, so crew chief Adam Stevens said we're going to give you more of what we gave you last time, which was a track bar adjustment and an air pressure change. Sam said he thought just about the same amount of change would be better for the next time. Rick?
Brad Keselowski, no changes. They like the way the car is running. Overall, happy with the way the night is going, and why shouldn't they be? He's running a great race. Michael McDowell doing a great job tonight. Very few changes. They freed it up a little bit earlier. Very happy. And as for Trevor Bayne, he's not happy with the car. Says he's got a problem with the right front and started burning it up more than he wants. But you see that race off of pit road between those 3 cars.
It was very, very close, Rick. Sam Hornish Jr. picked up a spot at Keselowski's expense. McDowell up a spot as well, and this brings the whole field back onto the same pit strategy for now. So Sam Hornish Jr. back to the point. He's led 11 laps so far today, and he'll be your leader when we come back. Derek Jeter and the Yankees are on the road, and you know where they're going. Yeah, to Boston to take on Ortiz and the Red Sox. Sunday Night Baseball presented by Taco Bell. It's the Yankees versus the Red Sox, 8 p.m. Eastern on ESPN. You can also watch live on Watch ESPN.
And that would be Big Poppy.
If you're on a personal basis with him, yes.
If you're from New England, it's personal.
Yeah, there you go. Very nice. Some debris right there. We are under caution for debris. We think that piece came off of this car, perhaps even after the pit stop. But we shall see. They're definitely going to go pick that up. That's over in turn 1.
We won't know till they go green if he needs that piece or not.
So Ty was on off of pit road, but there was a shuffle at the front. Hornish got by Keselowski on pit road. McDowell got by Bayne on pit road. So the passing on pit road, as always, you can win or lose the day with what happens with your crew.
Yeah, and then it brings into play, all right, does Sam take the inside or the outside? Trevor Bayne took the outside earlier. That didn't work out that well.
Hey, that debris, by the way, that was bouncing around it, but here it actually, Ty got into it. Doink.
Yeah.
Came off of somebody else. And again, this was under caution following the pit stop, so.
Chase straddled it.
Yep. And something like that, Ricky, it doesn't look that harmful, but it could be. There's not a lot of tread on these tires.
No, that's exactly right. You don't want to take the risk. I